Welcome back, friends. Today we're going to be talking about Besame Cosmetics' latest palette, which is the Mermaid Lagoon palette from their Peter Pan 1953 cartoon. Now, this is Besame's second collaboration with Disney, and if you all remember, they first released a collection with the Snow White film. So, what's unique about Besame and this particular collaboration is that Besame's thing is that they're a vintage inspired makeup company. So, picking a film that's from the 50s kind of tends to fit in with their niche. Now, Peter Pan was actually released in 1953, which is probably right smack in the middle of the decade. It's a good year for Besame. However, why did they pick the mermaids from this movie? Not sure why. I mean, it is a 10-minute, if that much, scene from the movie. However, it was a great scene because the mermaids were all pretty and the colors were beautiful. There was lots of blues and greens and pinks. And let's face it, these mermaids were the mean girls in the movie. They were definitely the Regina Georges. And if there's one thing we all know, mean girls are memorable. So I'm not really surprised that they got featured in this particular collection. Now, taking a look at the palette itself, it's beautiful. Actually, taking a look at the packaging itself, it's beautiful. If you look at it, you're looking at it from like the top of the carton. I actually think I am going to keep this particular box. I tend to throw these away and chuck them, but I think I am going to keep them because look how pretty it is. There's like this wavy pattern on here that kind of makes it look like you're looking down into the water and seeing the mermaid just kind of hanging out there on the bottom of the lagoon. And when you flip up the carton, it does give you like a brief description of probably these are colors. Let me see if I can get closer. Yeah, it looks like these are the colors that they use to make the scenes with the mermaids. And that's really nice. That's a really nice touch for Besame to add this to their box because, you know, if you're really looking at it from like a vintage standpoint, it's nice to know that they actually drew inspiration from like the actual colors that Disney used to make this film. So I appreciate that. What's really weird is when we look at the palette here, you see that this is like an 8-pan palette and you're like, oh, I want to go ahead and see what the names are. When I flip to the back of this, I don't actually see the names of the colors that they used here. I actually don't even know if these are the actual colors in the palette because I don't really see a black in there. Yep, I don't see a black in there, but I don't know what the names of these colors are. So when we start swatching them, I'm just gonna call them by the names that I think they look like. But really nice packaging. Way to go, Besame. Now for the palette itself. It's very pretty. I am going to go ahead and say that right from the start. This little pearly iridescent one came cracked, so I did have to press it back. And if you look at it, it's actually quite pretty. It's like a white pearl with a blue shift. Before we go into that, what's really interesting about this palette is that it's actually split into 4 colors. You are seeing 4 shimmer metallics and then 4 mattes. The right side metallics are definitely cooler, and then the left side are definitely warmer, which I think, to me, when I first saw this, you know, of course I think the colors are really nice and beautiful. However, I had a very hard time trying to create a look with this color story that we have here. Now, I'm sure there are makeup artists out there who can look at this and be like, oh, I could totally build a whole entire like eye look around this. Little old me who has 0 experience in makeup artistry was like stumped. So I did have to find that I did have to draw into other palettes to create the looks that I wanted to go for. Like I definitely, you know, had to go into more of my shimmer, warmer shades from my other palettes to work on this side. And I did have to go into my cooler toned mattes to try to build something with the colors on the right side. So, but that's just me. I'm pretty sure people out there can, you know, look at this and figure out something that they could do with all of them just and working directly with this palette. But let's go into swatching. So I did want to go ahead and start off with the one that came cracked, which is this, like I mentioned, it's like this really nice pearly white color. And when you swatch it, it has a blue shift to it. It's really, really, really nice. I actually think that that's one of the standouts in this collection. I was so bummed that it came cracked. Another standout is this blue one right here. It's like another icy blue. And if you look at it and if you swatch it, it's really pretty. Now these colors, these metallics, as expected, they are creamy. I don't really see a whole lot of skipping, which is pretty typical with the metallics, but really nice formula so far. Moving into this one, this is like a more deeper seaweed color, and it looks really nice, but look how it swatches. It's absolutely gorgeous. This kind of reminds me of the green that was in the Agent Carter palette. Oh, I forget what it was called, but it was also a deeper green, shimmery. Oh, I think that's very lovely. And then the last one is also a green, but I find this one to be a much brighter, vibrant green. Definitely more of like a, lime green? I don't know if that's right, but we're going to go with lime. So the shimmers are definitely standouts. I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, they all definitely tend to fall more into the blue-green category. That's fine. It is called the Mermaid Lagoon palette. So I don't expect to see like, I don't know, a shimmery red in there. But I think these four colors are very fitting to it. Moving on to the mattes, this actually looks really dark in the pan, but it's kind of like a burgundy. So the mattes are very creamy to the touch as well. I am going to tell you that this matte, as usual, it's like a purpley burgundy, doesn't swatch very well. I mean, it swatches okay, but it's definitely lighter in the swatch than what you see in the pan. You might, with a brush, you're definitely going to have to blend that in, and it's never going to be, you're going to have to layer it up if you want it to be much darker than what you can get it right from the swatch right here. This one is a darker red, deeper red, brighter than definitely this burgundy, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. As you're going to see, very similar, but more of a bright. And once again, the swatches, as usual for mattes, aren't going to be as smooth and as vibrant as you're going to get with the metallics. I think that we all know that that happens with mattes, but it's definitely brighter from the touch. These two, the purple and the red, are, excuse me, let me dust some of that, kind of fell into the things, are definitely more warm in shade and not as vibrant. This one is an orange, but I think it kind of tends to pull a little bit camel colored. So when you swatch it, let's put it right here, you're going to see that there's definitely brown undertones in there. So it's going to be actually a very nice crease color. Once again, as a matte, not the best swatch, but it does actually perform really nicely on the eyes. And then the last one in the collection is this yellow one right here. This one is a muted yellow. I'm not going to say it's super bright, but it's, let's do it right here. It's pretty. Oh, look how pretty. I kind of like mixed in the yellow and the blue, and it kind of created like a really, really nice green in there. But as you can see here, it's not a super, super bright, but it's definitely a nice color yellow. I think the yellow matte performs better than any of the other three. And I don't know if that's typical for yellows or not, but definitely very nice. Overall, I think that this is a very nice collection. If you are a makeup collector, if you like Besame, then I would definitely think about purchasing this. It is expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. This palette costs $48. And although Besame, if you wait around long enough, they do tend to run sales and you might be able to grab this like maybe 50%. I feel like you're going to be waiting for a while to do that. I am going to go ahead and mention that it does come with a brush, but I mean, it's so tiny. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this is, other than just decorative. I don't really think that you're going to get much use out of this, but I'm keeping it with the palette because, like as I mentioned, I like to collect Besame as a collector, and I like to keep things just as they came in, so I'm not going to take that off. Overall, is it worth the splurge? Totally. If you have $48, go for it. I think it's a beautiful collection. I think that, you know, the lipsticks and the bronzer and the highlighter that comes with it, which I hopefully will be getting very soon, are definitely something that you can keep on your vanity. Is it pricey? Definitely. Is it worth the splurge? Totally up to your bank account. Let me know below if you are going to be picking up any of these products. And if you did, what did you think about them? You know, do you agree with me? Do you want to let me know? Like, hey, Maritza, you can totally, make an eye look with these 8 colors by doing this, this, and this, let me know, because I'm kind of clueless at that. So if you want more information, I will be reviewing this in my blog, www.thebeautyswatcher.com. And until next time, my friends.